All right, welcome to City Heroes. We're in our last quarterfinal games, and I am David Chronostasis Alexander. I'll be shoutcasting for you, joined by JD. JD, are you there?
Yep. How's everyone doing tonight?
All right, this is the last quarterfinal match, and it's between THS and ETS. Pretty much every team we've seen so far, I want to say, has been really, really strong or showed just like absolute stomping power. ETS has been probably one of the 2 or 3 stars of those stompers, and yeah, hopefully this is another really fun game.
For sure, they've been really showing up to play the game. Both their teams have been very powerful throughout the tournament, really definitely showing up and making a name for themselves.
Yeah, there is a lot of elo difference between these two teams, but as far as I remember, THS looked prepared. They looked serious. I think some teams prepare more than others. Some teams try and wing it, and I don't think that really depends on the elo. But THS looks like they're serious, and so hopefully that helps them. But so for the bans, we have Kog'Maw and Quinn coming out for THS. Kog'Maw is well deserved. Quinn can be a terror because if she gets going, she has like Master Yi Season 2 and Tryndamere Season 1 syndrome, where she can basically run the map. In other words, push lanes and assassinate very easily.
For sure, that blind that she has is really strong, arguably stronger than a normal blind, such as a Teemo one, because not only does it make you miss AAs, but it actually does close your vision down, so it affects a player more than one way.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a different kind of mechanic for CC. It's interesting to see what Riot's been doing lately with their mechanics. A Nivea ban coming out, so likely that's a targeted ban, but she's been pretty powerful in this meta, I suppose. Very safe against early dives and also has incredible pushing powers, so that's pretty good. On the other side, we have Soraka, Malphite, Udyr. Udyr is just a nuisance. He's just a ball of stats. It's reasonable to get rid of him pretty much at any time because within an item and a half, he becomes not a team fight threat, not a kill threat, but basically a push threat. And that's, I know how annoying that can be to deal with, especially if you're just trying to do your own macro strategy. So Udyr, good ban. Malphite, obviously incredible engage power, and Soraka, I mean, I don't know, just another ball of stats.
Yeah, for sure, and especially with Udyr, Udyr's gotten a nerf this patch, but it's too early to really tell if he's still really strong or not, so it's probably a safer ban and a safer bet to assume he's still a very strong champion that could be picked. So just to be on the safe side, you ban him out, and you see what happens over the next following days, and you adjust accordingly.
Yeah, this is really interesting. We're on 6.4, so the patch has gone through. The Ezreal nerf has gone through, where his ultimate got a 40-second cooldown nerf. That is absolutely humongous. And then Muramana was changed. The damage difference, I calculated it with my friend. It's actually barely nothing. I think it's like a few damage. It's actually nothing for Ezreal in particular. And yeah, it's...
Not to mention the Iceborne Gauntlet change. The base size is actually smaller. It scales better with armor, but it's definitely targeted towards this pesky blue Ezreal.
Well, it doesn't persist anymore, right? So its chasing, or its use in chasing scenarios has gone down. So for people that kite back throughout a team fight like Ezreal, yeah, that's a huge nerf. And so Ezreal, surprise pick. I'm surprised that it's the first pick too. But I guess the player must feel very comfortable on that champion and very confident to look through those nerfs and think that, I can still pull this through. And then we got Gangplank Elise. That's just that's pretty dirty.
Yeah, for sure. Massive game potential with those two.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Gangplank is in an incredibly good place in this patch. Such a good pick. Was he changed this patch?
He was actually nerfed on a few aspects. Some argue that he was actually nerfed quite hard.
Wait, what was it again?
He had...
Barrels?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Decrease second on his armor, on his ammo charge time though. His Parley has its gold plundered nerf by a few. It's 2 each, basically, for each level.
Okay,
and
so Yeah, I see. They're hitting his snowball, and then they're hitting his late game siege, where he can basically,
Plates like 40 barrels.
yeah, he can 4 barrels under tower siege you really quite easily and too often. That's interesting. That's good. All right, so but still, I would say still arguably a very strong pick.
Yeah, for sure. That global presence of an alt. It may.
Yeah.
What's interesting is the numbers don't look huge, but when you stand in that ult for a while, it really starts stacking up damage.
We have Bard and Kalista for the bottom lane. That's a good bottom lane. They have a really nice. They have a team that's really good at taking a single pick and then chasing 4 other people down. That's what I kind of read in that team right now for ETS.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of mobility too on that team. Bard, Callista, Lee's Gangplank. These are all champions with speed ups, or short distance hops, or long hops, like a Bard tunnel with a Lee's repel.
Right. And then we got a Mumu and Alistar on the other side. That's a lot of protection for Ez, so that's looking pretty good. And then Pantheon coming through. We're going to see what this last pick is. Got about 10 seconds on the clock. They're still thinking about how to round this out. And yet, it looks like they'll go for the magic damage. I'm not sure if the split between Amumu and Ezreal. Then again, I think they're just lacking damage in general, this team. I don't know where they're going to get their damage to make Vlad's pool really shine. I mean, his ultimate, sorry, not his pool.
There's a lot of, what I see on the blue team is that there's a lack of early game presence, other than Pantheon, of course. They don't have much damage going to come out until post 6, arguably post 11. Vladimir is very weak harass in lane up until he reaches level 5 or 6 and starts maxing out that Q.
Yeah, not to mention the, I mean, Alistar was picked before the bottom lane, I think, of the red side, so what that means is, yeah, they got counterpicked pretty hard there. I think Bard does okay against Alistar. Definitely is not pose much of a problem. Whereas on the other hand, I don't think Alistar does very much to stop Kalista and Bard. They have so many ways to just get away from him after his initial engage.
I'm really interested in what this Karma mid's gonna do. Should be I am actually a really big fan of Karma right now. She brings a massive damage or massive utility with it. The multiple options for ult. Either she can self-sustain, give a good shield to the team, or really put out a lot of damage to that empowered Q.
That team looks like a rolling death ball that'll chase you through your jungle. I love it. It's actually really fun to see how that composition got rounded out. Anyway, we're going to be heading into the loading screen pretty soon, so we'll see you folks in game.
good to talk?
Alright, a pause coming through real quick.
What's interesting to notice, we actually see Vladimir chose to drop his TP originally had in a champ select. There's the only global presence really on a blue team is the Pantheon ult, and I don't know if that's much against Gangplank ults. You have Gangplank's teleport, and Karma's running teleport as well.
True. They have two global presences with Ezreal and Pantheon, but what is Pantheon's global presence? Like, we have to talk, like, it's not good enough that it's just it's big across the map. It's like, what does the ability actually do? And it's not reliable for wave clear often. It's really quite similar to Gameplanks, I would say, except that it puts Pantheon away from that area, or rather, it puts him in that area, whereas Gameplanks doesn't. So that's one particular big difference. And then I would say, looking at the kind of peel that ETS is working with, it puts Pantheon in a lot of danger.
Minions have spawned.
Alright, we have a standard bottom lane coming in here. A few wards from ETS. Nothing. Only one ward from blue side. They're just warding their mid, near their mid jungle entrance. And that went down. I think this bottom lane is going to be pretty difficult for Ezreal.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of harass that can come out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and Synergy's already starting in right here. Synergy playing on Bard, starting up the Q and auto harass. It's difficult for Alistar, especially if Kalista, who can move away from you, as he just tries to walk up to you. Oh yeah. Amumu getting a little bit of trouble in his own jungle, actually. I would see this coming because Amumu has very few tools early on in the game. Without his ultimate, his kit lacks a lot of impact. And Elise is basically a full kit at level 3.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
She's
trying to take the blue away. That really puts the hurt on Amumu, but fortunately Amumu was able to still pick up the blue.
really aggressive too. She went in at level 2 without any buffs. She might have been more successful if she had taken red and then moved on to the wolf camp or something like that, but at the same time, maybe would have lagged her behind or maybe puts her in a little bit of danger. Seeing the top side here being a little bit stale, as well as the mid lane, and another boss coming in. Alright, let's look at any CS differential.
Ooh.
Interesting start on GP corrupting potion. I like that. I think that's really nice if you want to snowball your lane, especially because it's just so much dot damage that a lot of players don't expect the damage that comes, and so they often like the underestimating of dot damage or not knowing how much is about to come really makes you think you can stand and trade for that one extra auto, but you really can't.
Yeah,
So yeah, combined with Gameplank's passive, it's a pretty cool level 1 strategy. I wonder if he can pull it off though. Pantheon's playing pretty far back, farming under his turret. And then we have
the jungles are pretty even actually. At the moment of pause, it's 4 creeps for 4 creeps.
Yeah.
They're both equally clearing. So.
They didn't get anything. They didn't get a chance to do anything, basically. Unfortunate pauses. We're sorry about that. We're not too sure what's going on, but I think there's a problem with ETS's support player's computer, so it's getting that checked out. Hopefully we'll get that going again. All right, what do you think about the solo lane matchups? We talked about bottom side a little bit.
So I think mid lane's going to be the most interesting matchup. I find that depending on the playstyles of the player and who gets the better positioning and the better decision making could come on top. It's definitely a harass sustain lane. Vladimir's definitely going to want to try to harass but keep staying alive with that using his Q to sustain. Karma's able to use her W as well to regain health, so if she chooses to do that, she could stay in lane with Vladimir throughout the lane.
Yeah. Interesting note about that lane. So damage over time effects actually still keep going on. Their effects still keep persisting and damaging on champions who are untargetable if it's already been applied to them, if the debuff's already been applied to them. So what that means is abilities like Karma's W and LeBlanc's E, if you hit them on Vladimir or Fizz, for example, and then they go untargetable with their hop or their pool while the chain is still on them and has not yet snared them, even though they're untargetable, they'll get damage and snared by the chain. So interesting thing to note, good thing to note if you're playing Vladimir, you don't want to get outplayed that way. Same thing with Lee Sin's Q, by the way. If Lee Sin Qs you and he Q2s you and he's flying through the air towards Vladimir and then Vladimir pulls, he'll take full damage anyway. It's as though it's a damage over time effect that's coming, and the time that it takes is really Lee Sin dashing to you. So good thing to note, not to get counterplayed. Don't play yourself.
Yeah, Lee Sin will just stomp right on that puddle, doesn't care.
Yup. What do you think of Pantheon versus GP? I'm pretty sure we saw that matchup like twice actually in the group stages. Last weekend.
We did have that matchup. Originally, Pantheon came up on top when there was a gank, but it depends on the circumstances. It's a circumstantial lane. In theory, Gangplank should be able to defeat him with the harass, and if he's running Undying Grasp, using that to sustain up.
Yeah. Well, are you familiar with? I know a lot of fighting games. They'll say it's a 5-5 matchup or like a 4-6 matchup or something like that. Sort of like who has the better upper hand, or I don't know. Yeah. Like in Karma versus Vladimir, I think that's more or less a 5-5 matchup. I think it's pretty much completely skill-based matchup. Nobody really has the upper hand. What do you think about GP and Pantheon?
I think Pantheon's go a little bit more on the receiving end. If I was the jungler for a blue team, I would rely on more gank to get my Pantheon ahead. If I was on the red team or the purple team, I would look at ganking top when Pantheon gets confident to push him further behind and allow for a more easy lane for my advantageous top laner. Sorry.
Theoretically, that would be right now, actually, because he's very pushed up and he doesn't have any stats going for him. He just has the Corrupting Potion, so right now would be the perfect time to do that. Hopefully Amumu recognizes that, because I think you're right. I think they have 2 CCs, so they can blow his orange and keep on him. Maybe barrel slows will help him and they'll burn the flash, but it's a start, at least. But yeah, I pretty much agree with that. I think... yeah, it's a 4-6 lane for Gangplank having 6, yeah. Just because barrels are so strong, even despite the nerfs this patch that we talked about a little bit before, yeah, barrels are just incredibly strong.
Not to mention both Amumu and Pantheon have things that help negate auto attacks. Pantheon with his passive, and Amumu's E is the passive on it that reduces a little bit of auto attack damage.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that characterizes Amumu as a tank, which is really depressing.
Add to this tier.
Yeah, it's poor champion, you know. He's basically a mage until he buys like a chain vest. So it looks like I think Synergy's computer was having some issues. I'm not sure what they're trying to do to resolve that, but hopefully a computer switch, or hopefully they resolve the issue. I hope the teams just get really fired up, and then it's just it's a bloodbath from here on out. Like, they collectively all agree to enter the dragon pit as 10, and then one person aggro's dragon, and then they'll fight. That would be fun. No, I'm just joking. But I really do hope the
10
players.
champions enter, 9 leave defeated.
Yeah. But no, really, I hope the players aren't discouraged. Okay, so it looks like Synergy reconnected. Good timing. Running out of things to analyze right now. Could talk a little bit about that one ward ETS has down there. But
Shown in on the blue side jungle.
yeah.
It's a really good place. You could see from most camps where they're transitioning, you could see them transitioning from Grump to blue, from Wolf to or blue. So all the camps themselves, if you see them transitioning, you know where he's in the jungle as moon.
Yeah. I think Elise was chasing at that time though, so that's why maybe he laid it down to try and get damage. I'm not too sure. I don't know what to think on level 2 Elise grades. I'm not sure. I think she doesn't have the kill pressure till level 3 really.
No. The big thing with big buff to Elise happened a while ago is that Cocoon change really makes her a stronger early game presence than before. In fact, you will see some Elises that they choose to invade will sometimes start Cocoon level 1 as little as it affects them. So what's your opinions on the dragon changes?
The dragon changes. I know that there is the 20% less damage from towers. What was the other one?
The other one is that there's a burn now that's applied on towers, kind of like, you know, how the red buff is now able to burn towers. The second dragon buff also burns towers, if I remember correctly, for 150 damage over 2 seconds.
Interesting. I think it just tells me what Riot wants to do with the game. It seems like this meta recently, or this season anyway, it's been very fast-paced. Big damage chunks. The ratio of damage to health, how fast a 1v1 or a skirmish or a team fight happens, or a disengage occurs. It tells me that they want to make it faster paced in a way, and yeah, I think that's sort of what the dragon points to. At the same time, I'm not really sure that makes those changes, like the changes to dragon. I don't know if players will value them that much though. I think at the moment, Rift Herald is really quite resourceful in the early game. If you can secure that within like the first 12 minutes, I think he spawns at what, 5?
Yeah, I believe it spawns at 5.
Yeah, I think if you can grab that within the first 12 minutes, if you snowball one of your solo lanes that way, just with the way that the game's pace works right now, yeah, Rift Herald is incredibly resourceful. Dragon's first buff is all right, but it's not as powerful as a quick rotation with that Rift Herald holding a team member and capturing 2 objectives off of it for free, basically.
Yeah, what's interesting about the first dragon buff is that it doesn't provide much stats in the early game as much as the first buff. It's odd because it doesn't really help early game, but as AD stacks and as AP stacks in the later game, it's much more noticeable. If one team has the first dragon buff and the other one doesn't, perhaps you could see like a 40-50 AP change, which may seem significant, but sometimes it's the difference between 1% max health and 2% max health.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. So we're back in the game. Sorry about that, guys. We're finally back. Synergy got his problems sorted out, and I think Mumble got its problems sorted out too, so we're not having issues anymore. Shout out to voice over IP connections. I want to see Elise go back and just harass the Mumu, to be honest. I think now that she's level 3, she can actually do something to him.
for sure. It seems that they have both his exits really on either side rivers warded out. You can see on the minimap there's a ward that Gangplank planted a little bit deeper than the bush in the bush, and there's one
Engage in the
right
bottom
here.
lane though. Well, we have Alistar knocking up and putting down the exhaust onto Bard. Oh wow, a flash and an E in from Ezreal, almost taking down Bard, but he was exhausted as well. First blood coming in from Kalista with the Rend. Beautiful job staying alive. Staying alive. And another kill coming in with the help of Elise. Well, that was just free either way though. But, you know, sharing the gold. Not really sharing the gold, just adding more gold to the team. Nice response. I think Ezreal was way too hungry for that. I don't think he had to go in for that. He could have laid back with that health advantage, poked, and be happy with that trade.
For sure. The additional problem was that although you heal and you have half your health back as Ezreal, that does not remove the 20 spears sticking right out of your ripen to be ready to be rended. They'll do massive damage.
So, first 4 minutes in the game, and first minute after pause, and we have action. So definitely the players were hungry. They weren't, as I was saying, they were pretty bloodthirsty.
For sure. What Ezreal had to do was also respect the fact that Bard still had his exhaust up. It was still there and still be able to use that, and Bard immediately popped it on him as soon as he hopped in, and he saw Ezreal wasn't enough damage to come out at that point to finish him off even with the exhaust on.
Oh, interesting decision from Vladimir. I know that he did get chunked out there with that last Karma Q, but Karma's out of mana and Vladimir has his Q up, so maybe a little bit scared of some flash in, but she doesn't have Ignite either, so yeah, definitely taking caution. Amumu's gonna pick up the rest of that CS. Both kills, by the way, were on Kalista. She's picked up that early recurve bow, which is insane. She is yeah, she's gonna be super strong, super fast.
What's
ETS
interesting about her picking up the recurve bow instead of a Vampir's After, she's really confident that Ezreal or Alistar is not going to have enough harassing out to keep her out of lane with the Bard heal. She's confident that as much as they can do.
Gank in the top lane, we have Core coming in, Gameplay laying down the ulti, but Pantheon is going to take out Gameplay. Flash away from Amumu, he's going to get locked up by the Karma W, and he's stunned, doesn't put onto him from Elise, but they're going to take him out anyway. Pantheon's ulti lands right on top of him, doesn't do very much though, and he's out of mana, so he can't do anything more. I don't think that's going to land. Alright, well, 1 for 1, traded the top laner for the jungle, but yeah, 1 teleport burned. I think this is probably a win for ETS on the top side there because they do get the tower down.
So
yeah, at the same time, I mean, shot in the dark, maybe he had it. It was very close to max range. So, but yeah, miscalculation there. There's a little bit of a lane swap. We have Gameplay coming in now, using his TP to go to the mid lane. Smart move because he doesn't really struggle against Vladimir at all, I don't think, and Karma was already in the top lane, so... Oh wow, we do have Elise overstaying her welcome, and Amumu getting a Q though. She's gonna be forced to flash over the wall.
what do you think at this time can Pantheon do to kind of stay relevant?
You can do that, pretty much. Jump on people and try and assassinate them and burst. As he was trying to get onto Karma there. His tower's taken down. That's pretty rough. He's not really good at getting away from ganks. He's going to have to start rotating mid, I think. Make plays mid, start diving mid, take mid tower. Top is a lost cause at this point. And you don't need the top tower. It's really nothing you should be worrying about.
Yeah, it doesn't open the map that much. It'd be a lot more concerning if they lost their mid tower. That really opens up the map, but top isn't the biggest loss in the world.
With lane swaps, it matters more. Oh, we do have a nice knock-up combo coming up from Alistar. And, ooh, Bard taking out really low, and the ulti coming in from Kalista, having to save him. The exhaust also coming onto Kalista, and the stun, double stun onto the blue team from Bard. Nice job there. Kalista trading, returning some damage there to make the trade a bit more fair. And Karma finding out the Mumu in the top lane. Just
Good hit from Ezreal and Alistar. However, it's really hard to get a kill on a Kalista Bard bot lane. They're surprisingly good at keeping each other alive. As low as you think you're gonna bring them, there's always that Bard heal up or that Kalista.
Big damage. Amumu's probably gonna die here. Yeah, Amumu's taken out. Karma just sticking around, pushing lanes, and then you can see they've warded up side jungle, and Elise is carrying a sweeper with her. So what the two of them are doing, Karma and Elise, basically ward up their jungle, push that top side, sweep the area, and then make picks on Amumu if he ever tries to walk in. And it's super mean because there's a lot of open space, there's no minions, so it's really easy to land a cocoon, and Karma also makes the job a lot easier with her W.
And there's not many, if the cams are cleared, Amumu has no way of getting over walls or anything with his flash on to get away. Elise is very mobile.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's more difficult for Amumu. He has less options of surviving in that area. But yeah, so nice job controlling the top side of the map by those two members, while the bottom side is putting really good pressure on their side of the map. Oh, another combo in from Alistar. The ulti coming in from Pantheon. This is actually a really nice decision from them. They're going to stun up Bard. He's going to go through the tunnel. Yeah, the targeted targeted Q from Pantheon coming out. Going to kill Bard. Oh, he's okay. So that was alright.
That was placement by Gangplank. Kept his Karma alive, I think.
Yeah,
Pantheon is so I'm just very close to that.
Elise find out Pantheon. He's gonna get stunned up. He's gonna get taken out. Oh no! Kalista walked back into the Amumu queue. She didn't have vision of the tri-bush. Elise is probably gonna get taken out here by Ezreal. Yeah, that's a double kill for Ezreal. So nice job actually coming out from THS, making good work of their grouping, sticking together, having each other's backs. Even when Pantheon died, they didn't decide to book it. As soon as Pantheon got engaged on, they worked with it. Double stun up, saving Bard.
For sure. They kept calm and collected there, which is exactly what they need to do against dumb sessions such as ETSs. Very good CC played out by Alistar. Definitely knew his target prioritization, and it really paid off for them.
Yeah, Alistar doing well with the combos. I think they fixed something where the combos are easier to queue up now. Something where the what the server was reading and what the user was inputting reads a little bit more clearly now, so it's easier to do the combination. But nonetheless, he's picking those up really nicely and deciding when to go in at the right time. Oh wow, big chunk of damage from the empowered Karma Q there in the mid lane. Pantheon does not decide to trade the rest of that Heartseeker strike, and Karma can actually flash in here. She does get the flash and auto attack for the kill. And Bard tried to get a sneaky little assist on the W, but that didn't happen. Nice try from Ezreal. Field goal.
So now you could actually, now we're a little bit in further game, we could actually start noticing a little bit of a CS difference coming out in all the lanes.
Yeah, especially Vladimir. He's suffering against both of the solo laners. Wow. Ezreal sneaking it out with a Q. Never say never. Just throw it in there. Just to see what happens sometimes, you know?
What's the worst that happens?
The worst that happens is you help them. The best that happens is you steal. I think it's pretty worth. Yeah, so that was pretty nice. Oh, Pantheon coming down to Elise. Elise is actually pretty squishy at this point of the game. Oh, Amumu getting the Q and the last second repel, but she's gonna die from the Sunfire on her way down. Or the Tears, who knows, either one. Oh, Amumu coming back in, the GP ult. Trying to help out Karma, but probably not
GP
gonna
also teleporting.
Yeah, that's not going to do too much. Probably should have saved that maybe for this moment right here.
Nice.
Yeah, the tower also has one shot on it, which is what they were trying to do, but the backup of Vladimir being there made them run away. They're a little bit low health with the ulti too from Amumu.
It's interesting to see Boots of Swiftness still really being picked up. It got nerfed this patch, but it's still a very popular pick, that somewhat tenacious concept of a slow reduction.
Yeah, well, we have a teleport coming down from the bottom lane here. Karma. Oh, getting the W onto Alistar and the stun, but he's going to Unbreakable Will. The ulti coming in from Pantheon right now to try and help his team, but yep, ETS backs off. Yeah, a lot of boots of swiftness in the past 2 or 3 patches actually. You're right, the what is it? I think it's the duration of movement of
20% reduction.
It's the duration, right?
I believe it's the whole slow actually is reduced. Yeah, sorry, the duration, is reduced by 20%, which is quite a big difference. However,
No, it's no, you're right. It's movement slowing effects.
Right.
So slows are reduced by 25%. That's helpful. But I think Karma coming in just super courageously, doesn't even care about Ezreal's front damage, and Elise sneakily soloing and picking up the Rift Herald up there. Yeah, well done from ETS, rotating and having superior siege. Ezreal being out of mana also doesn't help. So they pick up that tower, and we have GP is going to pick up this tower right now. Nice gold lead rounding out for ETS by 6k.
What should be noted though is Mercurial Treads got buffed this patch, or Mercury Tread, sorry. Their tenacity is up to 30% now, which is actually pretty good again.
Oh, I see, right. Yeah, swiftness is also just incredibly, like, having that 60 move speed at all times means that for Elise, your chase at the beginning of the fights and in the middle and at the end of fights for those cocoons is just that much easier. You don't have to depend on something like mobility boots. And Pantheon jumps back in to die against the incredibly strong Karma. She's not really like super fed on farm, but she's been killing people all over the map. And we have an Amumu ulti coming out here. It's going to lock up a few members underneath tower. Karma going to be taken down by Vladimir. The Ezreal ulti also coming across, trying to pick that up. Amumu going to get stunned up. He's out of mana as well, but backs away safely.
With the Rift Herald minions, it really puts out damage, as we can see right on the chart.
Oh, nice combo from Alistar and the ulti from Pantheon. The follow-up response from Bard will save them some time. Only Gameplank goes down from that engage. That was really well played from both teams, actually. I think Bard saved them from an extra little bit of punishment, but yeah, looks like they'll be fine. Yeah, you're right. That's what we were saying before. If you pick up a Rift Herald on this kind of team, especially with the gold lead they have, even though it's 7-7, they have a sizable gold lead. If you pick up Rift Herald and start sieging all together, I think they just win that siege straight out. With Gameplank. Yeah, Gameplank and Karma is very strong.
It's interesting to see Ezreal's picking up actually Triforce over Iceborne Golems after that nerf, perhaps preferring that larger damage but lack of slow.
That's right. Oh, poor Red resetting on Ezreal. Yep, yeah, the Iceborne Gauntlet, haven't actually seen what the effect looks like now, but yeah, it's not as good for kiting back anymore, but good luck kiting back against this team. You have GP and Karma. Good luck with that. Right now, unsurprisingly, the highest CS in the game on GP. Even though his stats aren't too good, he has his core items. Oh, we do have Karma though, getting stunned up by Pantheon. She's gonna get saved by, ooh, the nice flash to dodge the Ezreal ulti. Ezreal's gonna try and follow up. Oh!
Nice stuff.
That was pretty funny. But Vladimir's here, and he's gonna take out Karma before she lands a Q on him to chunk him out. Bard forced to flash over the wall, gonna save himself. And we do have Ezreal picking up Gameplank on the backside of that fight. At least still in the mix of things, trying to out DPS the Vladimir heal. That's not going to work out. She's forced to flash over the wall as her repel didn't reach Dragon. And they're going to start Dragon despite being down 2. This would be a really good time for THS to engage on this. Amumu's in the mid lane. I think they could have probably contested that because ETS was pretty low. Oh, we do have Amumu finding Kalista, but it looks like Kalista is finding a Mumu instead. Mumu flashing instead to get away. A little bit of a slow coming out from Karma. It's not going to do much though. They're not going to lock him down.
Interesting pickup from Karma, picking up that Morello Conmicon to help with the sustain coming out.
Yeah, Morella Namicon, yeah. Karma is just a demon right now in this game. She literally just walks up into mostly unwarded territory, just having the wards behind her at the entrance of the enemy jungle, and throwing Qs and slapping Ws onto people, and just forcing them to flash every which way. She was doing that before on the top side, just collecting kills onto a move.
It's kind of surprising not to see her more in the spotlight. She's kind of, I don't like throwing the term around loosely, but she in a sense is sleeper OP in the sense that she's a very powerful pick, but she's not sinking.
Stun up onto Kalista and a stun up onto Pantheon, but the engage comes out from a Mumu. Ooh, beautiful Ezreal ulti into the Curse of the Sad Mummy. A lot of damage, and it's gonna kill Elise, so it's a 1-for-1 so far, trading the jungle for the top laner. That was really, really well played from THS. They did, oof. Karma's going to get the W snare onto Vladimir's pull, and they're going to be able to catch up with Vladimir. That means his pull's down, so that's a free kill onto him. Synergy's going to pick it up. Unbreakable Will comes out from Alistar, but Alistar is snared, and he's going to die as well. Just a little bit of a misplay. They had I think they had the health advantage there just for a moment until, yeah, another Karma snare turns it around.
Big damage coming out, Karma, as you can see already. Just those two items finish is massive damage.
She's playing incredibly well right now, actually. She's performing super well. She's speeding herself up, catching people out when they make the slightest misstep. It's really difficult to see when you can just do that and get away with it, but this Karma player is really experienced, especially knowing what the enemy team's kits have and what kind of threat they can do against her if she were to approach them. That player seems to know what they're doing, so yeah, Vlog's performing super well on that champion right now. Oh yeah, I forgot about that Karma change. She can W monsters now, right? Is it only big monsters?
I'm not sure about that. I think so. I think it's...
I should read more people. So they're gonna pick up Baron for free.
I think Blue Team has a little bit of realization now.
Yeah, it took them a while. That was after a little bit of a skirmish in the mid lane. I'm not too sure if THS realized that they were doing Baron.
No vision that I could see on the map as of right now.
Yeah. A little bit questionable. I think they're probably feeling like they're behind. They are behind, but they're probably like, when you lack that kind of focus, it's 21 minutes into the game. The enemy team has a Kalista and a Gangplank and a Elise. Those are pretty good damage dealers in the early game against epic monsters. When you have no vision in that area and nobody's on the map for about 20 seconds, or even 10 seconds.
Panda's gotta watch out here.
Oh, we do have a knockup coming out from Alistar onto two members of the red team. Oof, Pantheon ulti is gonna, wow, take out Kalista, yeah, and Amumu is gonna ult up two more members. Let's see if Ezreal can follow this up with more damage. He's gonna take out Elise, maybe gonna take out one more member. Nope, Amumu's gonna pick that one up. And ETS losing this fight everywhere, but everybody on the blue side is super low, but they will win this fight with everybody bleeding. Ezreal, the only one on the backside, taking out everybody on the enemy team. Beautifully done. Wow, picking them out in the jungle.
Very, which is interesting because you would think Gangplank and Karma would be very powerful there with a barrel chokehold, but I want to point out Alistar had a beautiful play there where he actually knocked away Gangplank before he could proc his Q on his barrel to do massive damage to 3 low HP players, knocked him away so he wasn't able to secure those kills.
Yeah, the issue is as well is Gangplank needs preparatory time for that. That team needs time for setup. They actually can't respond that well. The most response they have is maybe a Kalista ultimate and a Karma empowered E. They don't actually, like, the Gangplank ultimate is not a great way to stop an Amumu who ults on you. Like, that doesn't do very much, right? It still locks you up. And from there, it basically means Ezreal has a free True Shot barrage. and free reign of positioning for about 3 seconds. So his target selection becomes really, really good at that point. He can decide who he kills, and that's why he was able to get away from any threat, pick off the backside, and stay with his tank. Actually, kudos to Ezreal and Amumu doing lots of work in that team, and the nice engage from Alistar. We do have a snare coming out onto Vladimir. He's going to have to try and pull away from this. Wow, Ezreal coming out with the damages. It's going to force away Gangplank.
It's the big thing I see coming out blue team. That amplifying damage from a Vlad ult with an Ezreal ult cutting through the whole team will really cut them down real fast.
Yeah, this game just got a lot more competitive and exciting. We have Pussyfur stealing the red up here. Yeah, Ezreal 8-1 and 5. Holy moly, he's really strong. Oh, Pantheon ulting in, snare, or rather stunning up Kalista and simply assassinating her. Bard's gonna get knocked up too here, and venturing into the jungle being still really forceful even though they're not as strong as they were before. THS definitely has the team fight advantage now. With this strong of an Ezreal and a Mumu who's landing his snares this often, or rather his stuns this often, they have a very strong team fight. Trying to dive in the mid lane here, but Karma's taking all the damage.
But with the Morello Konagon, she still has to respect that Vlad has picked up his Spear Visage along with his Will of the Ancient. He has a lot of sustain coming in with just those Qs and his E's. It's really going to keep him healthy.
Is it a Morellonomicon or a Morello Comicon?
Nomicon.
It's
My crush.
I'm just messing with you. But I think a Morello Comicon would be
I
pretty
usually
cool.
call Morellas, to be honest.
Yeah, and GP ult gonna clear this, stopping the push from the blue team. I don't think that's gonna stop them actually. Alistar can just tank this. So this is looking really good for THS. They have the kill on the scoreboard. They're up on kills. They're just down 3 towers now. They have 2 dragons. One from the steal and one that they just picked up now after they got the double kill down bottom. I believe. Yeah.
So if you're ETS, how would you evaluate your team fights right now? What would you do if you were on ETS's team? How would you change up your plan of action to get better engages and better results?
Well, they should be doing what they did before, to be honest with you. They should be warding and sweeping. Those sides of the jungles and only acting on those sides of the map. So the reason why Kalista and Bard got caught out was because they didn't do that. If you go back and look, they didn't have vision there. So that's just sort of an overconfident macro play. And I mean, they're doing perfectly fine if they stay away from that, because if they split up, they circumvent any 5v5 and teamfight engages, and they keep skirmishing. They have a really strong skirmish in that they have a lot more CC, a lot more lockdown, which means anytime you have less than 5 players versus less than 5 players, CC on one of them means that one of the 4, one of the 3, like, you see what I'm getting at, it becomes much more important. So yeah, their skirmishing power is really strong, and they should rely on that much more. But they go ahead and pick up a tower there. That was just not great rotation calls from THS. They could have probably defended that and forced a team fight, actually.
Yeah,
But
ETS definitely has good vision in the blue jungle. You can see that the whole bot jungle is pretty lit up.
Yeah, they probably recognized the mistake. Those are all mostly new wards. They probably recognized the mistake that Kalista and Bard died due to a lack of vision and a lack of care for that. So, but yeah, that's another thing. Gangplank has really good split pushing skills. They have 2 teleports, and being that not only their team strength is in skirmish, they can also play off of that by their macro play with GP ultimate and 2 TPs. So yeah, split push. Keep your Karma close to your GP or your Elise. Keep making picks, and then have Bard, Kalista, and whoever else is there force something on the bottom side. And if they can keep a certain amount of players on that side, then you have the other 2 players push down the top lane or the mid lane. So that's what ETS is looking to do, basically. They don't team fight as well. They shouldn't be looking to team fight, I don't think, to be honest with you, unless they get an exceptional amount of poke onto them.
I want to point out that THS has picked up on the mistake. You can see that they've actually warded now the Baron to get vision, so they're very well aware of the clearing that's going on right now.
I think they're reinvigorated. I mean, that team fight bottom. Oh, nice. Talking about team fights, Kalista is going to get ulted up here. Nice try from Bard, but it's not going to matter. He's going to get taken down as well. Pantheon's going to come up for the stun. He flashes away. The bandage toss locks him up. Double kill coming out from Ezreal. Ezreal is so strong right now, 12-1 and 6.
Gangplank's pushing hard though. They have to watch out for that.
Gameplank's pushing the bottom side. They should just send one back and force down 4. They have 4v2 here. That's what they're going to do. Yeah, hopefully they get something off of this, because or else it's not going to be worth it. Oh, they do get the lockup though, forced to flash away. Leases really, really nice bandage tosses from Amumu. He is super focused right now. The snare is going to come on to Alistar. He does not have Unbreakable Will, and Elise is going to get locked up. She went into spider form way too early. Pantheon was still really healthy, and Ezreal deals a ton of damage. That wasn't really when you wanted to go in. Oh, flash Q.
Beautiful.
Picking up the backside.
She's definitely got something up her sleeve.
Alright, nicely played. Gameplank trying to run away from the team right now. Karma keeping them busy, but Pantheon's going to stun up, and Ezreal's going to pick up that kill as well. This is looking kind of bad right now, 22-11, and the gold is still in favor of ETS, but it feels like the team fight is just so strong. If they get a single CC right now, from Amumu or Pantheon, the follow-up from Ezreal is just... I thought the damage was going to be lacking, but just because of how strong he got.
So if you were ETS right now, would you rely on the Gangplank split push to put the pressure on the map, or would you be looking at trying to get a smart poke?
I mean, they were doing fine. They were doing what they were supposed to be doing. It wasn't a matter of their strategy being wrong, it was just that they got caught out. Like, somebody got mechanically outplayed. That's all that happened in the mid lane. Somebody got too confident with their distance. For no reason. They weren't defending anything. That's something I tell people all the time. You shouldn't, if you're not near some objective that you're trying to protect or contest, there's no reason to be at that area. And that's what happened, I think, with Karma or Elise. They got knocked up from Flash Alistar, I think it was. Yeah, and yeah, that's what happened. So it was just a mechanical outplay. ETS was doing what they were supposed to be doing. But right now they're trying to pick up the dragon, and 4,000 Rend stacks is going to do it. Oh, nice lockup onto Amumu. He is going to get, wow, so much damage coming up. He is going to get slowed down from the barrels, and the follow-up onto Pantheon. So that's pretty good coming up from ETS. Blue side making a really big mistake trying to place vision in there, and the magical journey taking everybody on a ride. It's a ride that they want to, because they can follow up with everything here. The ultimate coming out from Kalista. They're not going to lock up Ezreal, but they will lock up Alistar, who was in his unbreakable move, but that's not going to do very much. This looks like ETS can actually maybe close out the game from here. They can actually rotate to the mid lane, take more. No, they won't be able to close up, but they'll be able to take something else, I think.
It seems like they're going to go for Baron. There's not much chance for blue team to take it away from them. THS doesn't really have the opportunity unless there's a well-placed Ezreal.
Yeah, that's also another really big risk. You don't have any teleports. Your global is on your top laner if you took Ignite. And Kalista is very good at doing this. The barrels are very good at protecting this. The ultimate coming out from Ezreal is just going to help it, and Kalista is going to secure that. Looking a little bit less good for THS. They had the advantage when they were finding the picks and starting up team fights where they wanted to, but that's easier said than done. It's really only come by virtue of ETS making mechanical mistakes and being where they shouldn't be, really. So yeah, it's difficult to say. Even though they have the team fight advantage and they're stronger now in gold and in items, it's still difficult to say that they have they'll have an easy time, especially with Baron right now. The bottom and top side for ETS is pushing, and they're barreling down mid lane as 5. Definitely going to lose a tower and inhibitor off of this. Oh, Vladimir getting slowed down by the ghosties, forced to flash away from the Karma Q not to get locked up even more.
This is where we're going to see the sieging coming in from ETS being really strong. They're just going to mow down this tower.
Yeah, trying his best to clear this out, but he doesn't have enough wave clear. We're just with that ulti. Amumu ulti coming in. They're gonna lock up Kalista. Kalista does go down. This is the team fight they want. Double kill coming out from Pantheon. Wow, so much damage. Way more than expected. Pantheon and Ezreal doing so much in that team fight. Actually,
one this tower falling them.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Vladimir's damage is gonna be like. But yeah, you're right. The inhibitor tower going to be taken down here. Vladimir overstaying his welcome. Oh, Cocoon landing perfectly as he gets out of the pool. And Pussybra's going to pick that up with a Q. Yeah, so they did kill 2, but they have plenty of minions to deal with. It was a decent call, but maybe they should have done it a little bit earlier.
It's very hard for THS to bounce right now because they lost a Nexus turret due to the super minions pushing in.
Oh, but they're doing what they should be doing. Another pick. Beautiful bandage toss from almost max range, I think. And pick up from Ezreal. He's going to fight Elise as his Elise doesn't do very much damage. 200 crit on that barrel. And almost picking off Elise now, I think. She has Riley's, so W is going to help her get away. Oh, Pantheon snaring up Gameplank, but Gameplank deals a ton of damage. He didn't expect that because his team wasn't there to follow up. His team was actually too far away. Should have communicated that a little bit better because now is not a good time to die, especially with all those minions on your Nexus tower. And this is looking like the end of the game for THS. Gameplank ulti coming out, going to secure this tower as well, pushing the enemy team away from defending it. And meanwhile, Vladimir's trying to keep all the minions from the Nexus, but yeah, too little, too late. Another bandage toss, another ulti coming up from Amumu. Can they? No, I don't think so. If only they could take out the enemy team right now. They might have breathing room. But it's looking pretty desperate for them.
ETS is being very calculated right now. They're gonna back.
Yeah,
they
they
got that
have
final
to.
push.
Yeah, they have to. Everybody is back on THS. They're healthy, and they had 2 members who were low and 1 dead. So, besides, it's very difficult to lose in this scenario. Any game, I think there was a stat for some time ago in LCK. Teams that were able to take out 3 out of 3 enemy inhibitors won 99.7% of the games or something like that. It was like, it's obvious, but it's very difficult to come back from this. It helps that they have a team fight composition because you'll be fighting over an objective in a particular location. There's no splitting up involved when you're trying to close up a game. So that's actually a good thing, as weird as it sounds. So they'll be all grouped together. So they can get a miraculous team fight and their minions are pushed out, they push their waves out, and they can maybe kill 3 or 4 out of 5. They'll have breathing room. They won't even be able to come back. They'll need 2 of those, but they'll have breathing room.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like a push and shove kind of scenario right now.
Karma Q taking out 50% of Ez's HP. Nope. Nope. Nope, that's not happening. Bardo's coming out. This is going to stall them. Kalista's working the Nexus, but oh no, this is not a good idea. Ezreal's going to 1v1 Kalista, and Amumu's going to go down though. Unfortunate. I don't think, yeah, Kalista distracted Ezreal, so Amumu didn't have much damage follow-up there. I don't know if they would have won that anyway though, but yeah, GG for ETS. Good try from THS. They had some pretty good tries there in the bottom side, in the jungle. They found nice picks. They found nice team fights. Let's go see the damage real quick. I'm gonna see the damage. Yeah, so Ezreal coming out on top for his team with 35k, and on the red side, looking at Karma 42,000, so she's at the top, and Gameplank 40. They did a ton of work. so much AoE damage. Yeah,
Very
insane.
good fight though.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll be back soon. It's going to be the, I think, semifinals, and we'll figure out which teams are going to be coming up real fast. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back soon.